Hey, what's up guys, I'm RoberOnocle, and I want to get something straight. This title doesn't mean that I want to stop making commentaries anymore, but I don't want to make them my focus. That's something that I've thought a lot about. Honestly, really ever since about the start of this year, I've been kicking around the idea of changing something with this format. I didn't know if it was just retiring altogether from making YouTube channel content, or if it was switching to something else entirely. I think what led me to this decision was just looking at how I felt about RoberOnocle and what was going on with it, and looking at the current state of my channel analytics, overall viewership, subscribers, a lot of things that went into it. So I know a big thing for creating YouTube content. A lot of people have said this before, I've heard it pretty much since I've started doing this back when I was a 14-year-old kid, is that you should always make content that you're happy with, and you should focus on just being you. And I feel like, to a degree, I didn't really adhere to that all too well, at least as time went on. Don't get me wrong, RoberOnocle Season 6 is by far the best thing I have ever made. The editing is easily at its best, the writing is easily at its best, and I have a good chunk of friends who say that Season 6 is the best stuff I've done so far. And I'm not necessarily saying they're some of the best videos ever made, that's for you to decide, but just me personally looking at it, I can definitely say that that's the best content I have ever made, honestly. Even though it's a bit of a mixed bag of big reviews, and I was doing commentary cutlets and then these 2 minutes or less videos and whatever else. But even setting aside the weird gimmicks that I was doing, just the raw production value, I guess if you want to call it that, was just pretty good. I'd say very good, at least compared to what I was doing before. I learned a lot from what I was doing wrong during the Final Fantasy videos that I was making, and really worked on sharpening my skills at it. And I'd say that I was generally heading in the right direction, at least at the time. Things are different now. I look at things like how professional I wanted to make RoberOnocle. I'm pretty sure a lot of you started to notice that I was going down more of a professional route with the editing and the writing and such, and all of those were good changes. At least I'd say they were good changes. But the harder I tried to go for this professional style, the more everything started to get to me, if you catch my drift. It seems that with all the effort that I put into these YouTube videos, that I feel that I should be able to get something more out of it, even though I try to primarily focus on making a video I'm happy with over actual analytics. But I mean, look, it is what it is. If you're making YouTube channels, or rather making YouTube videos out there, if you're making YouTube videos out there, you're broadcasting yourself. That was the motto of this interesting website at one point, was to broadcast yourself and get yourself out there and see people like your content if they want to subscribe and see more. I mean, you're putting yourself out there consciously or subconsciously for a reason. It's to get people's attention. Obviously, the hope there is that you can hold some people's attentions long enough so that they'll actually want to stick around. For those of you that have been around since the very start, you guys are very close to my heart. You guys know that RoberOnocle has really not gone anywhere. It's going on, what is it? Let me think real quick. I started in July of 2014. So that would have been about 7 years since I've started YouTube. And I get it, for some people it takes time, and it takes them like a decade before they get popular. And frankly, if I'm being honest, I'm not really mad about, I'm not mad about the state of having so little subscribers or so just little of a following in general. It's just that I feel that after so much time, I don't really feel like what I'm doing for RoberOnocle is my calling anymore. Doesn't mean that I'm done making commentaries or reviews or whatever you want to call them. I'm still interested in doing it from time to time, but I don't think that was God's plan for me, so to speak. Because I feel like, even though no part of me really wants to quit, there's this small voice in the back of my head that's saying some things I really can't say. in this video, but it's a spiteful little voice. Whether it be criticizing my lack of viewership or following, whatever you want to call it, or just my actual skills. It could be anything. It's just a little spiteful little voice in my head that doesn't really get louder, I guess. I don't want to say it gets louder, because it's never pushed me to the point where, like, I'm, like, really lashing out at people for it. I don't throw a hissy fit about it, and it's not like it's really louder. It's just more frequent, if that makes sense. It's more frequent in my head, and, you know, I guess one of those things, amongst all the things I hear in my head, is, why don't you just stop? Why don't you just quit? Because if you stop now, it's not like anything changes anyway. And, I mean, if RoberOnocle has changed you in some kind of way, that's awesome, first of all. That's really awesome that you've actually liked my content enough to where it actually changed your perspective on something. It could be anything. But I think by just staying down low so long as I have, and the fact that I've never been able to break 200 subscribers, like, it does make me ask, like, am I doing something wrong? I said something very similar during the Q&A, if you guys didn't watch that, which you probably should. I think it does give a little insight on, you know, just who I am as a YouTuber, but that's besides the point. So, you know, it just makes you wonder, you know, like, so many times, like, you know, what's the point of doing this? And I'm happy doing it, but, like, nothing ever comes out of it. And, I won't say that. I won't say that. You know, let me take that back. It's not that nothing comes out of it, because I mean, I've been getting much better at video editing through this. I've been keeping at it and having this persistent attitude, but through the fact that I just don't think I understand how to use YouTube is really bringing to my attention, like, how good I am at this, because as much effort as I put into YouTube, it's pretty clear I have no idea how to get my name out there, how to get people to care about the content that I'm producing. I mean, I still get like 50 people watching some of these videos that I make. Depends on what kind it is, but 50, I mean, even 14, 15 feels pretty good, honestly. But I know the initial plan was to try to make a job out of YouTube, because it was something I enjoyed doing, and that, I don't see it happening. If I'm being honest with you, I don't see it happening. Just with how little I really understand YouTube as a platform, and the fact that I can see just about anybody around me, friends, people I don't know, just acquaintances, whatever, they can make like just about any content, and I can see them always soar past me in views and subscribers, and I just sit there and I'm like, maybe I'm just not meant for this. And like, I don't mean that like in a very like resentful, like, ugh, like angry kind of way, like, oh, I hate this guy, because, you know, it's nothing like that. You know, honestly, look, I'm 21. I've got better things to be worrying about than whether or not somebody soared past me on YouTube. And I'm just trying to look at it from a realistic perspective, like, if this is actually something I really need to go through with. I will say, though, it does make me a little more, I guess, a little pessimistic about making videos. Not so much like, again, not like in an angry or really sorrowful sense, but like, I think about stuff like, for instance, this Mega Man video that I announced way back in December, and I had actually been making good progress on it. I haven't really touched it in a while as of this video, but I've been making good progress on it. But I think what really slowed me down is I'm just like, so am I gonna make this like long, I don't know, like 50-minute video just for like 20 people to watch it? And I mean, I get it, you know, like if you put 20 people in a room, that's a lot of people that want to watch your stuff. But when I consider the fact that I'm not really growing at all, it does kind of make me like look at it in a different light. Again, like, I'm not sad about it, you know, but it does hurt the, it hurts the motivation that I have, because I'm just like, I feel like I could be doing better things with my time than just trying to make a video that I know, at least compared to like how much my viewership and everything's been shrinking. Like, I mean, it could have been no more than like another like speck in the wind, you know what I mean? Frankly, in this time and age, I'm actually looking more towards game development, believe it or not. That's another thing too. I'm just looking at these commentaries and reviews that I make, and again, I don't regret making a single one of these. I really don't. The reviews, commentaries, everything I made over the years, even the Final Fantasy videos, which admittedly did have a lot of problems with them. I actually I almost said a few, a year, just over a year ago from when this video is coming out. I actually had my friend Drew Pizik critique some of my Final Fantasy videos. Admittedly, I don't agree with everything he said with those videos. I do think some of them are much more subjective or lean towards ideas that I didn't really want to go with. That's not saying that he didn't have good points to make, though, because some of the things he said were very much major issues for the videos that I'm making. And keep in mind that when RoberOnocle Season 6 was being made, that I did try to optimize it based on some of the things he said. So I'm not trying to say this to try to diss him. I mean, he could easily stomp me with his viewership and everything being much bigger than me anyway. So, I'm not trying to shake my fist up at the man above. He's a really cool guy. And again, RoberOnocle Season 6 I don't think would have been as good without his critique. Again, very important. But I look at all this and I look at all the reviews and everything I've made, and I think to myself, why am I talking about games when I could just make one? I mean, obviously it's not as easy as just a snap of your fingers. Video games are incredibly hard to make, for those of you that do not know. That's something you guys, for all you guys in high school or whatever, that say, I want to be a game dev, just be aware that a big part of the process is fighting a mountain of bugs and optimizing your code and making sure that everything runs well and that you're not making spaghetti code. If you don't know what that means, spaghetti code is when you have code that's just basically everywhere, overcompensating for stuff, things like that. Just way too many variables and stuff being passed around. But it's not an easy thing. So I don't want to make it sound like it was just like a snap of the fingers when I came to this decision to start looking into game development. But here's the thing: God forbid that I wake up tomorrow and get absolutely destroyed by a truck. I think I have a decent amount of time ahead of me. But look, the way I look at it, one of these days I'm gonna get old and I'm gonna die. That's all of us. I'm gonna get old and I'm gonna pass away, just like anybody else on this planet. So I like the stuff that I'm doing. Yeah, I like the stuff that I'm doing on RoberOnocle, but if this isn't my calling, then honestly, I'm just ready to man up and just take that. That doesn't mean though that I want to stop making YouTube content though. I mean, admittedly, making these commentaries can be pretty fun. I don't just think they're suited to be the primary content anymore. I think the seasonal system I did for RoberOnocle, I think that's going to be put to an end. I don't really see much of a purpose with it anymore, especially with where I am just mentally with RoberOnocle. I don't think it's well suited for what I want anymore out of doing YouTube. I think if I'm gonna still do YouTube, I'd rather just do whatever. And I know that's kind of the thing with YouTube, you're supposed to just do whatever, but I thought my whatever was just covering games within a commentary and talking about games I like and talking about the ups and downs of it, things of that nature. Doesn't mean I necessarily want to stop doing it, like I said, but I'm thinking I'm heading back to what I used to do when I first started RoberOnocle, because now I'm thinking about maybe doing Let's Play stuff again, focus more on making funny montages, funny haha videos, or even if this game design thing that I'm doing actually goes through, I might even be able to do a devlog in here. I don't know. And, who knows, maybe I can do this game dev stuff or whatever, and it won't really go anywhere. Maybe I just won't be popular or whatever. That's happened. I can guarantee both you and me here that I'm probably never going to be like a Sony or a Nintendo if I make a game, but it has been something I've been thinking about. Like I said, why talk about games when I can just make one instead, So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. And again, it's not like I want to stop doing reviews or commentaries, but I think it is more beneficial if I just try to find something new to look into, because I think after 7 years, again, don't regret a single year that I was working on RoberOnocle, but I think it's just time to put an end to an era and just go back to doing whatever I wanted, like in RoberOnocle Season 1. Just making whatever I want, just being happy with whatever it was. Like I said, montages, Let's Play stuff, commentaries, or game dev, blogging stuff if I decide to do that, things like that. just being more of a miscellaneous channel like RoberOnocle used to be when it first came out. And it's really interesting to see everything come full circle like that. And if you dislike the video, or if you unsubscribe because, dang, Rob's not making the, reviews or whatever, or, like his Final Fantasy or whatever, at least not like he used to be, so I'm losing interest. I mean, that's okay. I get that. I just want to focus more on just being myself. That might even leave room for podcasts to come back. And, like, this is the thing. It's really interesting because, like, I used to think about, like, doing Let's Plays or podcasts and everything, but I'm like, oh, but it's not a commentary or a review, or it's nothing like that. It used to really irk me. Because I've actually thought of it several times about doing, like, a Let's Play or something, but I'm like, that's not what I do anymore. But, like, it doesn't have to be my gimmick. It's my channel. As far as I'm concerned, not one of you can step through my computer monitor and delete my channel. I'm not saying that as a challenge, but it's like nothing. I won't die if I don't adhere to that gimmick that I had once made, and that doesn't mean I'm gonna like just fade out of existence. If you happen to see me on Twitter or on my Discord server, or see me in a Discord server, I'll still be active. I don't want to just like up and poof away from the public eye. That would be lame, is to just up and just disappear like nothing ever happened. Then I feel like I would have been wasting my time, and your time too. I don't want to disappear from the public eye. And again, I'm not quitting. I want to emphasize that so much. I am not quitting YouTube. I just don't want to focus on what I had been primarily doing for like the past roughly, what is it? Like about 6 years or so, because I started really focusing on discussion and review videos around 2015-ish. So it's been about 6 years of me doing that, and I think I just want to put an end to that era and just, I guess, go back to the good old days. I hate to sound like, some kind of like American dream, like, let's just get the good old American dream back to the good old days, or, whatever, anything like that, old-timey stuff, but, I don't think what I've been doing was really right for me. So basically, to sum this up, I don't really want to go with a gimmick anymore. I just want to be myself and just do what I want. And again, if you don't like that, if you're not interested in that, feel free to dislike the video. That's totally cool. Or like it. It's up to you. If you want to unsubscribe, again, totally fine. Because, I get it. If you're here for a certain type of content, then, it is what it is. I'm sorry if for some of you guys that's a little disappointing to hear, or it's kind of sad. Again, don't want to disappear from the public eye, but that is all I have to say. I'm RoberOnocle, and I hope to see you guys soon. You all take care.